What's happening, everybody? Off the Mike Sports Network. Another edition of Off the Top Rope. Those of you who are already seeing this title on this video are gonna just immediately go to the comments and say, Mike, you can't stop talking about her. I need to make a point, and I need to make an example here because earlier this weekend, Mercedes Mone became 10 belts Mone, and I look. Normally, like it's just it's hard to really grasp why anybody should care about this. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is everybody's trying to pinpoint this like it's some sort of a big deal. Meanwhile, a person she beat, Stephanie Vicaire, hasn't been collecting belts. She's been collecting wins and credibility in WWE. Tiffany Stratton, who literally came from nothing in terms of the wrestling sphere, has built herself up to be a very credible, performer in WWE. Why does Mercedes Moné need to keep winning championships to validate her legacy? I said this from the minute that she got to AEW. This is one of the great performers and one of the biggest reasons women's wrestling is where it's at. Why does she need to keep adding belts to her collection? Why does she keep needing to do that? Because, side note from this, it's not even really 10 belts. A couple of these belts are unified, so she's just carrying them around as accessories. And one of them is a trophy for a tournament where she won a title shot that she lost to a person who's already lost their championship, by the way. Why we did that, I have no idea. She's going to break the record for the longest TBS championship run, but she hasn't beaten anybody. The women's division is beholden to her. And everybody who wants to get up in my comments and tell me that I'm a hater or I don't appreciate her. Listen, I do appreciate what this woman has done for the industry. But how is this changing any of the perception of what we knew about Mercedes Moné before she got to AEW? We knew she was a great wrestler. We knew how great she was, bell to bell. Maybe the best bell-to-bell worker that they've got. Some people think that she botches a little bit. Some of the stuff that she's done this time around has actually been okay. It's just, listen, the fact that you're not benefiting your own company, and like I said, some of this has to be put on these promotions who keep booking her for these titles. But people say, oh, she's going there and she's winning these titles. How is that elevating those promotions? Because she's holding it? Guys, you cannot be this dumb. Again, she's holding 10 belts. Only 8 of them are really recognized because, like I said, there's a unified one, and then there's also, you got to take away the Owen Hart one because the Owen Hart one isn't even a title. And basically, I can count probably on one hand how many of those championships actually really matter or people actually know. There's there Rev Pro, and then there's CMLL, and then there's obviously the TBS. I couldn't tell you, in terms of the recognized championships. I'll read this off to you. So it's TBS, CMLL, Rev Pro, Queen of Southside, Owen Hart, EWA, Primetime Wrestling, Best Year Wrestling, Discovery Wrestling, Body Slam Women's Champion. And who's to say that she's not going to, win the Women's World Championship at some point from Chris Statlander, assuming that Chris Statlander gets past Toni Storm at WrestleDream coming up in a week. But why should we care about this? Why should we care? This doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter. Look, I'm here to tell you, I really didn't care that much about Stephanie Vicaire and Tiffany Stratton for the Crown Jewel title because that Crown Jewel title doesn't mean anything either. But at least those women are, making their title matter. Tiffany Stratton, the problem with Tiffany Stratton that we've had is that there's no opponents, and the booking on the SmackDown side has been terrible. But she's done what she's supposed to do, and she's shown up, and she's actually won matches. I don't get how AEW benefits at all from Mercedes Moné going to every single other promotion and winning their title. And I don't get how any of these promotions are benefiting from it either. She's just carrying those titles around on television. If she defended them against these people, I mean, it still wouldn't matter, but at least it would make those titles and it would give them some relevance. Just getting visibility on television, that doesn't mean anything. So when I saw her win her 10th title, I was like, oh God, this is embarrassing. Because the more titles that she keeps winning, she's becoming more of a parody of herself. Because it cheapens every single other one of those titles that she's won, because either each one of those gets because how do you think it looks that the only title that she is wearing around her is the TBS title? She puts the other ones on a table, doesn't even walk out with them because there's so many damn belts that she can't carry them. Like, for all of these stans who love her, I'm not saying that she's not great, okay? I'm not saying that she's not great. But I think what this has done, this run that she has had in the last year plus, has really exposed the ego on this woman. And there's a lot of egos on people in wrestling or in any type of competition in the first place. She felt wronged. She felt like she needed to be appreciated like a top star. And the way she's going about it, I do not like. Because this is not elevating women's wrestling. This is not elevating her. This is cheapening a legacy of a person who really is a reason for a lot of people being in this industry in women's wrestling. And her winning all these titles doesn't elevate anybody. Like, it doesn't make you feel any greater about her. Like, how are we changing, like, and elevating what we already knew about Mercedes Moné, Mercedes Varnado, Sasha Banks? Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. She's still the same character. She's just changed it to CEO instead, had a goofy chant added onto her song, and she raps her own entrance music. That's it. And she's carrying around a lot of titles. There's not one definitive defining moment that you're going to basically say to yourself and go, wow, that was better than her that was better than her main eventing WrestleMania, or her being in one of the best matches on a bad WrestleMania 32 card. Nothing that she has done in AEW has meant anything close to what she did in WWE. You could say she has had better matches. None of them meant anything. And she's holding a bunch of titles that nobody gives a crap about. Again, who cares about this shit? And when she wins the 11th title, I'll keep saying the same thing. Because it's not changing any of the perception of what we have seen from this woman in the last 18 or so months. So, stop ball washing her. Stop acting like she's the greatest thing ever. She has done a lot of things for this industry, but in the last year and a half, she has done more harm than good. Specific to her legacy and to just helping the industry, and specifically AEW. That's my thought on that. So anyway, thanks everybody. I'll appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.